A courageous person faces fearful things as he ought, and his reason directs for the sake of what is noble. The greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. The man who does not enjoy doing noble actions is not a good man at all. Nothing moves without having been moved. And of course, the brain is not responsible for any of the sensations at all. The correct view is that the seat and source of sensation is the region of the heart. The noblest expenditure is that which is made in the divine service. The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation rather than upon mere survival. A man without regrets cannot be cured. Character is that which reveals moral purpose, showing what kind of things a man chooses or avoids. We do not act rightly, because we have virtue and excellence, but rather, we have virtue and excellence because we act rightly. You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of the mind next to honor. Virtue is a greater good than honor. The quality of life is determined by its activities. The actuality of thought is life. Each type of activity produces the corresponding sort of person. For what is the best choice, for each individual is the highest he can achieve. In everything continuous and divisible, it is possible to grasp the more, the less, and the equal, and these either about the thing itself or to us. In a practical syllogism, the major premise is an opinion, while the minor premise deals with particular things, which are the province of perception. Now when the two premises are combined, just as in theoretic reasoning the mind is compelled to affirm the resulting conclusion, so in the case of practical premises you are forced at once to do it. Wisdom or intelligence and prudence are intellectual, liberality and temperance are moral virtues. A tragedy is a representation of an action that is whole and complete and of a certain magnitude. A whole is what has a beginning and middle and end. For when people do not keep watch over the commons, it is destroyed. It results, then, that they fall into civil faction, compelling one another by force and not wishing to do what is just themselves. To feel these feelings at the right time, on the right occasion, towards the right people, for the right purpose, and in the right manner, is to feel the best amount of them, which is the mean amount, and the best amount is, of course, the mark of virtue. There is one end we all have, not in virtue of being rational, but simply in virtue of being a human being, and that is happiness. Man's work as man is accomplished under practical wisdom and moral virtue, the latter giving the right aim and direction, the former the right means to its attainment. All virtue is summed up in dealing justly. Every tragedy consists in tying and untying of a knot. For nothing is moved haphazardly, but in every case, there must be some reason present. Not seek for exactness in all matters alike, but in each according to the subject matter, and so far as properly belongs to the system. Good habits formed in youth make all the difference. There are, then, these three means of effecting persuasion. The man who is to be in command of them must, it is clear, be able to reason logically, understand human character and goodness in their various forms, and understand the emotions, that is, to name them. All terrible things are more terrible if they give us no chance of retrieving a blunder, either no chance at all or only one that depends on our enemies and not ourselves. Those things are also worse which we cannot, or cannot easily, help. Speaking generally, anything causes us to feel fear that when it happens to or threatens, others cause us to feel pity. Avoid the enthymeme form when you are trying to rouse feeling, for it will either kill the feeling or will itself fall flat. All simultaneous motions tend to cancel each other either completely or partially. Shall we not, like archers who have a mark to aim at, be more likely to hit upon what is right? All men by nature desire to know. An indication of this is the delight we take in our senses, for even apart from their usefulness they are loved for themselves, above all others the sense of sight. Not only with a view to action, but even when we are not going to do anything, we prefer seeing, one might say, everything else. The reason is that this, most of all the senses, makes us know and brings to light many differences between things. good cannot be a single and universal general notion. If it were, it would not be predictable in all the categories, but only in one. Neither by nature, then, nor contrary to nature do the virtues arise in us, rather we are adapted by nature to receive them, and are made perfect by habit. For activity in conformity with virtue involves virtue. A man may possess the disposition without its producing any good result. Well begun is half done. There is no great genius without a mixture of madness. Hence, while in respect of its substance and the definition that states what it is in essence, virtue are the observance of the mean, in point of excellence and rightness it is an extreme. One must learn by doing the thing, for though you think you know it, you have no certainty until you try. So while a thing in a finite time cannot come in contact with things quantitatively infinite, it can come in contact with things infinite in respect of divisibility, for in this sense the time itself is also infinite. There appears to be a certain difference among the ends. Some ends are activities, others are certain works apart from the activities themselves, and in those cases in which there are certain ends apart from the actions, the works are naturally better than the activities. If, therefore, there is some end of our actions that we wish for on account of itself, the rest being things we wish for on account of this end, and if we do not choose all things on account of something else, for in this way the process will go on infinitely such that the longing involved is empty and pointless, this would be good, that is, the best. Every art or applied science and every systematic investigation, and similarly every action and choice, seem to aim at some good. The good, therefore, has been well defined as that at which all things aim. By the way, a question is sometimes raised, whether the moral choice or the actions have most to do with virtue, since it consists in both. It is plain that the perfection of virtuous action requires both, but for the actions, many things are required, and the greater and more numerous they are the more. The good of man comes to be a working of the soul in the way of excellence, or if excellence admits of degrees, in the way of the best and most perfect excellence. Equity bids us be merciful to the weakness of human nature, to think less about the laws than about the man who framed them, and less about what he said than about what he meant, not to consider the actions of the accused so much as his intentions, nor this or that detail so much as the whole story, to ask not what a man is now but what he has always or usually been. Where there are things to be done, the end is not to survey and recognize the various things, but rather to do them. Not in depraved things, but in those well-oriented according to nature, are we to consider what is natural. Now each man judges well the things he knows, and of these, he is a good judge. And so the man who has been educated in a subject is a good judge of that subject, and the man who has received an all-round education is a good judge in general. The life of active virtue is essentially pleasant. If it is better to be happy as a result of one's exertions than by the gift of fortune, it is reasonable to suppose that this is how happiness is won. Again, it is for the sake of the soul that goods external and goods of the body are eligible at all, and all wise men ought to choose them for the sake of the soul, and not the soul for the sake of them. Being cannot be one in form, though it may be in what it is made of. The man differs from the horse in form, and contraries from each other. Which quote did you like most? Share it with us in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.